The season is upon us to continue to chapter 3. I can say after this session, the game has gotten progressively harder. I'm gonna start this one off instead of just yapping about nonsense and whatnot. I'm gonna get straight into the game and like lore and like remake-ish ideas, this idea is just for the fun of it. So in this first scene, when we get to chapter 3, where we go to the mayor's house or whatever, the governor's, whoever the hell his name is, and Shana is singing a hymn to this child to put the child to sleep. Ashel recognizes that this hymn that Shana is humming was sang by his daughter, 20 years ago, Claire. And we learned after this cutscene that Shana learned this hymn from Dart because Dart's mother used to sing it to him. Right? So that's an obvious, put together. That's what's happening right now. Now I'm trying to get into some spoilers here, okay? So, if you don't want to hear spoilers regarding this game, cover your ears because I'm getting to like last disc end of game spoilers here. So end game spoilers here. When you get to the final dungeon of the game, you get to a point where there's this little girl on a piano who's playing the same hymn. Now, by the way, the hymn that Shana is singing is her theme song, in the game. That's her theme song. So when you get to this final dungeon, there's this little girl playing on a piano this tune. For the longest time, I always wondered, like, who could this little girl possibly be? I thought, like, maybe this little girl was Shana's twin sister. But here is my final conclusion on that. The little girl is actually the friend of Claire who Claire killed in the training accident. It's Lotta. That's Lotta on the piano playing Claire's hymn. And I thought that was kind of interesting and kind of creepy. If you think of all the I guess implications of that, because Claire killed her best friend and her best friend is like stuck in a limbo, at the end of the game, playing Claire's theme. And she's just stuck in there on an endless loop, just playing the theme over and over and over again. So I thought that was pretty cool, on some lore type of stuff regarding this game. So if anybody's ever wondered, or just that's the end of the game. That's the only other time we get to see Lotta in the game, Claire's friend, who she killed. Wapow! You killed her with the punch. Okay, so. Moving on, so yeah, I always found this part, to be kind of one of my favorite parts in the game. You don't really notice it, but throughout the entire game, there's just non-stop music playing the entire time. And this is one of a few instances where the music stops playing and you just get to hear the ambience of the waves. It's soothing on the ears, You don't really realize that the music has been playing the entire time for the past 30 or so hours up until this moment. So as we finally get into, some fights around disc 3, chapter 3, I kind of felt like the bear-stained bear. Oh, I can't think of some clever bear names. Smokey the Bear over here, I guess. I don't know, he was kicking my butt. I don't know if there's anything different with him, but he was seemed pretty fast to me. Chapter 3 is normally where the game starts picking up in the difficulty regarding the random enemies, at least in this first area, an abrupt picking up from what you're used to going up against. And this is kind of where the game starts to open up, giving you optional paths to go in, or optional fights at least. Even though the road doesn't really lead to anywhere of significance, you know, I guess it's just worth mentioning, bringing up. So let's get into some remake chatter here. As we're going to be getting into like a lot of cutscenes. This is going to be a bit of a weird video because it's going to be a lot of cutscenes. It's literally about 40 minutes of cutscenes and dialogue that I have to chop down into about 20 minutes. 40 minutes of clicking the button, watching cutscenes, clicking the button. It's a love and hate. I hate this part of the game, and I also love it, but I also hate it because it is so obnoxious. Sitting and doing nothing for 40 minutes up to an hour. So we meet this one character, Sister Luanna, who gets a cutscene coming up fairly shortly. I had a thought, like, one thing that Legend of Dragoon doesn't really do is that it doesn't have a source of continuity. And what I mean by that is, outside of chapter 1 sort of, and I guess chapter 2 sort of, but you know, kind of not really, you don't really have a player HUD where you can go back to base. The environment will grow with you, and you know, the lore would expand with you, and you're constantly, you know, going back to this player HUD where things are just expanding and expanding. There's just like no real like return to base moment. You do a lot of backtracking throughout this too. Don't get me wrong. You do backtracking, but it's not like a player HUD. You know, there's like nothing special waiting for you. And what I think the game would really benefit from, where let's say there's something special waiting for you each time you go back to that HUD, you know, outside of the Stardust lady. Outside of her, there's something special waiting for you that makes it interesting to revisit that place, you know, along with the NPCs growing along with you in the world. And they sort of do that, but it's just not really like a main thing, you know, that's just like a side thing. But here's my ideas. Now you have this cool character in Sister Luanna, who I feel is a character who gets the short end of the stick because he's way cooler than the role that C plays in this game. Now she's a blind chick. She was blinded by the black monster, and a side effect of that is that C can see into people's souls. Alright, that's worthy of being a character of significance, wouldn't you say? So my idea is having Sister Luanna being the key figure in this return to player base whenever you return to the Crystal Palace, because he sees through people's souls and anguish in people's hearts. Let's say that she can like alter the spirit points in some way or some form. Like, what if she could like modify your goon powers in some way, like increase like properties of your Dragoon abilities, like every time you visit her and you like bring her something. And I just think that she fits that role because she doesn't really have a role. Let's say that she can give you more levels to stay in Dragoon, or let's say that she can give you more spins on your D attack, or she gives you a percentage boost on certain attacks, or she gives you abilities to cancel out, or like gives you like an extra spell, or you know, you get like a custom spell that you can add on into the 4th slot. That's just my small, I guess, remake idea that I just think that will be cool, you know, if that's just for chapter 3, you have Sister Luanna who could alter and do stuff like that. So that's just my wacky idea that nobody came for, but that's what you got. And we're gonna deal with all these cutscenes. Hopefully you guys enjoy and have some fun peeping out these JP cutscenes. And we'll be back picking up the pieces in a minute.
神木樹とはすなわち生命の木。すべての生命は神木樹から生まれたのです。はじめ世界は虚無で満ちていました。そこに天から舞い降りたのが創造主ソア。彼は従者と共に天地を創造していきます。その最後にソアは大地に一粒の種をまき、種は見る間に育ち一本の大樹となりました。大樹は108の実をつけ、熟した実からさまざまな生命が誕生しました。こうして108の種族が創造され、生命に満ちた世界となったのです。役目を果たし終えた神牧樹ですが、今もソアの封印に守られていると、そう伝承されています。
ドラゴン戦役の伝説にはドラグーンなる7人の戦士が登場する。ドラグーン、ドラゴンの化身と謳われた者たち。ドラゴンを従え、ドラグーンたちは果敢に戦ったという。だが伝説が現実であったこの時代、有力人は神をも支配しておった。時の指導者メルブ・フラーム、彼の祈りに神は応え、その力を振るった。神の豪華に焼かれ、聖帝グロリアーノの大地は焦土と化した。人々の怒りと悲しみ、それを糧にドラグーンは戦い続ける。そしてついに神を解放せしめたのだ。神の力を失った有力人は滅ぶ。我々、つまり人間の時代が到来した。神はその後に天空に浮かんだ。以来1万1000年、天空より世界を見守っておるのだ。沈まぬ月となってな。なぜ神は奴を生み出したのか。黒き魔物。奴は伝説にさまざまな名を残しておる。いわく神に背き神を喰らう悪夢。いわく世界の平和を拒む最悪。 なわち沈まぬ月。沈まぬ月は108年ごとに赤く輝く地上に死者を送る兆しだ。かの死者を人は月の巫女と呼ぶ。月の巫女は地上に神を復活させ世界を浄化すると伝説にある。黒き魔物はそれを忌み嫌い憎む。そして月の巫女を殺す。悲しき因果に果てはない。神は天空にとどまり続け、そして世界は混沌とあり続ける。
Another thing I wanted to discuss, because we're still kind of like in the middle of nowhere at this point. There was something interesting relating Shana, Miranda, that I discovered the last time I played this game, like last year. Miranda actually has an ability that makes her better than Shana. So hear me out. When you get Miranda, she gets this ability to inflict status effects at a 100% ratio. I know this to be a fact for sure in the Japanese game, but I don't think that is 100% the case in the American game. However, there's something that's giving me doubts, that's making me second guess myself, even though I know I've tested this out multiple times. But here's something that I've figured out. When you have Shana, she doesn't have that ability to inflict status effects at any time. She gets it randomly like every other character. Miru is the only other character who I think has that ability. But when you get Miranda doesn't out the gate get that ability. Like when you get Miranda, she's the same as Shana, just flat out. She's just the same as Shana. But the moment you go into the Forbidden Land, Miranda gains the ability to inflict 100% status effects. I don't know why, it might be a glitch, but it is happening every single time that I've played the game. It happens 100% of the time in the JP game when you're in the Forbidden Land, and when you leave the Forbidden Land, she inflicts a status effect on every single bow as long as you have her with a status weapon. Now, when I played the game today, she did it in both versions. Alright, so that's what's making me question it, because she did it in the American version as well, in the Forbidden Land. But the real test is going to come is once we leave the Forbidden Land, is she going to keep that ability? That I am not still sure of for the American version, but we will see. We shall see. And I believe we're going to be getting to this Kamuy fight. I guess we got to talk about that real quick. There's not really much to talk about other than, oh, there's a lot to talk about actually. So Kamuy, he actually has a new move in Japanese. He has a new move where gets the ability to take multiple turns basically. So he stands up on his hind legs and he throws nail shards at one character, and they deal, you know, like a fraction of his damage, maybe half of his damage, right? It does like 100 and so on each character. So he does that, and that gives him an extra turn, because no matter what, he's always going to take another turn after he does this move. That gives him an extra 100 points of damage for each turn that he uses this on, and then he follows it up with whatever move that he chooses to do after that. He may even take an extra turn after that. So you know, if you want to say that he's harder or not, I just have to say, just by principle, by having a new move that by default makes him harder, and then you can throw in the fact that everything he does is better as well. So yeah, you know, it's no debate that he's harder. But he's still Kamuy, so that's bottom line. I didn't really fight him all that well in either version. You know, I kind of flopped it, and it's kind of a boring fight, so I skipped it in somewhere in the middle, and I restarted the fight in the American, so you're going to see that as well. It's all going to be within that one fight. So there's that, and you know, I'll see you guys in a bit, and we'll continue into the Forbidden Land. Catch ya in a minute, and deuces. Alright, so the big revelation here is that Miru is a wingly, and you know, this is like a forbidden territory for humans. Why they let us in, you may ask? Why would they let humans into this forbidden territory that they hate these people? We said that you're all gonna die. We said you're all gonna die, and they just let us in. It makes more sense than what the way I'm saying it. You know, I'm just making it sound dumb for no reason. You're not allowed to enter. You're all gonna die. All right, sir. Right this way. You know, convincing argument. Right this way, sir. Right, it makes sense. I'm just making it sound dumb on purpose. Another cool fact. I guess it's a fact. All the Winglies here in this area, the male Winglies at least, they're all wearing the same armor that you're going to see Lloyd wear later on, because that's slightly interesting. They're all wearing like bits and pieces of his armor. I don't know what that means. What does that mean? Because Lloyd, he is wearing the same pattern of armor as all the dude Winglies in this area. What does it mean? Does it mean that perhaps maybe they stole these items? Maybe he killed somebody for these items? Or maybe Emperor Diaz, he killed somebody to obtain this armor set for Lloyd. Because Lloyd, the implications are that he's not from this forest. So somehow, some way, he ended up with one of their set of armors. And judging by the fact that later on in the game it is revealed that he got some of these equipments by assistance from Emperor Diaz, I think it's safe to say that Emperor Diaz either killed somebody in the forest for this set of armor, possibly he killed the Bardel brother's sister, possibly he killed their sister. Damn, I didn't even think of it like that. Damn, possibly Emperor Diaz killed the Bardel brothers' sister, and possibly that's how he gained entry to their hidden forest locational things, and he got the Dragon's Buster, and he got these other things in the armor set for Lloyd. Could be. It's just speculation. All we know for a fact is that Emperor Diaz and Lloyd were there. Emperor Diaz is a human being. The Bardel's brother's sister was killed by a unknown human, and Lloyd has some of their armors and their weapons. That's something to think about. I'm just tossing out there. Bringing up some revelations for your boy, for your girls, for your elders, for your mama and your drama, your pappy and your llama. Damn, I think that's all I have to talk about. No, wait. We're actually going to end this video. We're going to end this video on this one fight because all the cutscenes, it takes so long to get to this point. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but we're going to make this a two-parter dungeon, and we're going to go in against the Virage, the Super Wounded Virage. And let me tell you, he is like every other Virage in JP, a nightmare. It is preposterous. He's definitely harder, the hardest one yet. I made a big deal about the first one. I mean the disc 2 one. The disc 3 one is even worse. I guess give and take, but I feel sorry for anybody who tries to take him down. I feel sorry if you try to take him down. Good luck, cause he is faster than Allen Iverson. Dude is over here taking cardio lessons from the Flash. Man, this Virage he's nuts. He's nuts and he's on crack. And he's finna show you that. So do whatever you want, deal with it. And hey, if you got guts, beat him and upload it. I want to see it. Do it. I want to see somebody try that. I know you could probably over level yourself and you could get it done, but I want to see somebody attempt that, because it is nuts. Like, I'm talking about just trying to guard and just defend the entire time. You're still gonna have a hard time staying alive. That's how freaking fast he is. Everything he does hits about doubled that he does in the US version. And he's taking about twice as many turns. By the time you even get to the countdown, he has a countdown for the lives. He has like 10 countdown lives. By the time you get to the first countdown from 10 to 9, he's done at least 1,000 damage to your entire party. By this point, he's taking about 5 turns. The dude is nuts. Right? There's no comparison which one's harder. There's no comparison. I'm just gonna let you guys see it and have at it, and I'll see you guys later. May peace be with. Always keep your heads up, deuces, those both adios, stay cool. And if you like this content, be sure to show some love, but always be sure to show that love to the people who matter to you. This is ITOwl bidding you farewell, the most of wells, and stay cool. Deuces.
Yes!